Oh, it's going?
I just hit record. Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Samantha, and this is...
I have to do this again?
Do it again.
I think we should use the old clip. I'm Carson. I'm neurotic.
Well, we're all a little neurotic. Anyway, Carson is joining me live in the flesh from Seattle. He's visiting me from Austin. People know you live in Austin, Texas. Right?
Well, I tried to keep that a secret for a while, but yeah, I am living in Austin currently. Sort of, but you don't try to find me.
It's interesting sort of being a public person out on the internet. It's like what kinds of things you want to keep private and what kinds of things you want to share with the world. Yes. I'm not surprised that you didn't want people to know you were in Austin for a while. I still think that most people, I haven't really shared my full name on YouTube, you know?
I wouldn't.
No, I probably won't. Although, I don't know. I'm also out on the internet and other places where you can find my full name. I'll just leave it at that. How about?
Yeah.
We wanted to talk tonight about a couple of things.
Stalker fare.
Look, if you're a stalker, just don't, because you're messing with the wrong...
I will hunt you down if you stalk Samantha.
Either of us...
Because it's my job to stalk her. So I will stalk you while stalking myself. Oh, wait.
I'm stalking you, look, so Carson's not doing a
territory.
Good... Okay. What Carson's trying to say is that neither of us are people that you should fuck with. So if you're thinking about stalking, he laughs, but I'm serious.
It sounds so threatening. We're not threatening people.
If someone's stalking me and they put me in danger, I will cut them.
Your cat doesn't look afraid of us at all. Look at him.
Toby can stalk me anytime. He's the best. I'll cut in a picture of Toby, right here. Okay, so there were a couple of things that we wanted to talk about tonight. One of the things that Carson's been here for a while, and we've been able to have a lot of really awesome conversations.
I feel like he's been here such a long time.
He's like, oh God, I'm so ready for him to get the fuck out of my house. But it's not like that, for real. And
I wouldn't blame you if I think I snore though, right?
A little bit.
Oh, geez,
I want to talk about a couple of things I want to share some of the conversations that we've had.
Yeah.
Since you've been here with the community at large, because I think that, when you get two professional transsexuals like Carson and I together, we can have some interesting conversations.
I think I want to retitle that failed transsexual for me. They'll get that later.
You think you're a failed transsexual?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would you think that?
Well, we'll get into that.
Well, maybe we should talk about it now.
Yeah.
One of the things that we've talked about is sort of fluidity of identity, and detransition has been a topic. And I know that there's a lot of strong opinions about detransition in the community. And seriously, there's going to be no negativity about the discussion of detransition here on this video tonight. Because
except from us.
If we can't talk about these things, how can we, we should honor the mental possibility of the idea of detransitioning. It's something that I've thought about.
It's just another option. That's all.
To me, if you think about gender transition as a way of exploring yourself, sometimes, gender's a spectrum, and sometimes we don't land on that spectrum where we think we do, or where we think we will, or we think we should, because there's also pressures.
Or even if we know where we are, I'm genderqueer, and I've always known I was genderqueer. Even if you know where you are, it's not always clear what to do about it, and that's what I've been struggling with, and that's what I've been talking to Samantha about this week, or 10 days that I've been here. So and I hope I haven't thrown you into some existential vortex.
No, nothing like that. I think we've had a lot of really, really great discussions. I have considered detransitioning in my life, especially as things were sort of very difficult in my transition. When I was in Denmark, and I was really trying to climb some mountains that I shouldn't have had to be climbing. It was very, very hard. And sometimes I thought, like, is this really worth it? Like, how important is this? Like, it would be so easy for me to go back and live as a guy and just, like, you know, cross-dress or whatever, like, when I needed to. Just let it out when it has to. But I sort of knew that, you know, that wasn't really what I wanted. And so... Yeah, I don't know. I think that when, lots of people do detransition. There have been people on YouTube that have detransitioned. I mean, a couple of people have shown up and been very public about their transition and then detransitioned. And some of them, I think, have disappeared and some still remain.
Yeah, there are a couple who are still kind of coming in and out. I'm one of those people who... I've been on YouTube since 2007 and making videos since 2008, and I've consistently been kind of back and forth on this issue. So people who've seen my videos before, it's probably not a surprise if I'm considering this again.
So why do you think detransition? What is interesting? Sure. What drove you to transition in the first place? And why do you think that detransition is something you might want to do now?
Well, what drove me to transition was talking about it in therapy for many years and having dated somebody who was transitioning several years before that, and experiencing the envy. Like, I remember seeing his syringes and his, before he did that, his androgel in the trash, and I would feel... I just had this urge one day to, like, pick up the packet of androgel and like squeeze out the which sounds really scary,
remains, yeah.
But, like, I just realized that I wanted that. Like, I wanted to go through that process, but I didn't do it for several years because I was in a private practice. I was running a private practice, and I didn't want to, like, do that to my clients. And I was from a conservative family, and there was going to be a shitstorm if I transitioned. So it really took a long time to commit to it, and there just seemed to be no other path at that time because I'd already tried being queer, I tried being bisexual. Like, sexual orientation didn't fix the problem that I had with my body, and I've had a lifelong dysphoria around my body, certain parts of my body. So I felt like transition was, or physical transition was the only way to fix that. And I still believe that I'm transgender, and I'm still gotten a lot of relief from testosterone and from surgery. I've had top surgery. However...
And you would want to maintain that top surgery if you detransition?
Yes. I mean, I'm very happy not to have boobs. I've never liked them, you know, since I grew them. I like the changes to my body shape from T. I like the changes to my face. I even like having facial hair, but what I don't like is, like, after 40 years of being a woman, like being in this other world. Like, I'm either in trans world or I'm supposed to be in guy world. And they don't fit very well into guy world. And there are reasons why I don't want to fit. And the last thing I'll say about it is that I've had a hard time finding a romantic life as a trans person. Although I know a lot of people do quite well. I've had more of a struggle because I felt like I could only feel comfortable dating other trans people. And as we all know, there aren't that many of us. And there aren't that many of us who are out in Texas where, you know, I started transition. So I feel like I've severely limited my dating pool. And that's been a real problem because that's, like, I didn't transition to date make myself into somebody kind of non-dateable.
No,
I mean, that's not why I did that.
Isn't it curious though how, like, as a person becomes a more true version of themselves, that complicates life instead of simplifies it?
Well, it depends. I think people who have a lot of privilege, like, say a white cisgender gay man who's from, like, fairly wealthy family, or he's in a career where he's making quite a bit of money, I think when he discovers, hey, I like having sex with men, and he happens to find another kind of similarly upper crusty white gay man, then I don't know if his life becomes more simple or not. Like, maybe his life gets easier.
Okay.
Because he's partnered with another privileged male as opposed to
Yeah.
being privileged with an unhappy and sexually unsatisfied woman.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So maybe it's about, maybe it's about the play of privilege. And I mean, I was a straight white heterosexual man, and now I'm a gay white lesbian transsexual woman, gay and lesbian. So I've definitely experienced a loss of privilege, and
Yeah.
it's kind of painful how much privilege does actually permeate our lives in our society. And, the people with the most don't really see it,
No.
And so when you lose privilege, then that makes life really hard. And if there at some point, maybe it's a cost benefit analysis or return on investment or analysis or something. So I just want to say that if you do detransition, I will still be your friend, and I will still care about you, and I will still watch your videos, and I will still support you with every inch of my body.
I really appreciate
And
that.
mind. And it's like, we're people, right? We're people. So if part of our journey is to explore gender, like, why draw lines just because you cross a line more than once, or because I don't know, maybe I'll edit that part out. I don't know.
No, I think we should leave this raw. I mean, I one of my fears about being kind of public about this, and I've made videos about this before. I made one video about possibly detransitioning several years ago.
I remember that.
But, I eventually took it down. I think that I'm really nervous about putting any messages out there that that it's a mistake to transition, or that people shouldn't follow their hearts.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really important. There's such overwhelming pressure already in the culture for you to just sit with what you're born with, the label and the body. And that is not what I'm saying. I don't want to discourage people from doing that at all. But I do think that for people who are specifically genderqueer, like I am, I do feel like at that time I transitioned, there was a lot of talk in my narrow community about how to fix that dilemma. And given my limitations and my age, which I only mention not because I have, think that older people can't transition. For me, it's more of an issue of I've been living my life a certain way for 40 years, so it's more of an adjustment, I think, to switch at that point. And I also had an established career and established social support system that could be seriously, threatened by what I was doing. So I think there's a greater investment in sort of the false life. So you have to really think about whether you're going to turn that upside down.
Yeah.
And mine did get seriously turned upside down.
Yeah.
So I think that I'm just really evaluating whether or not all of this was it worth it? All the losses, were they worth it? And two, I mean, like, given what I know about myself, my limitations, my experiences, and also the joys of transition, do I want to keep heading down this one path? Or do I want to say, this is kind of where I get off? Maybe I should try a different path, or I should just step away from this for a while.
I remember a long time ago, I went to a support group, and one of the gals there made an amazing allegory about transition. She said that if you view it as sort of like a long hallway with a series of doors, and each door is like a step forward in the transition process, and that you can walk up to a door, and you can open the door, and you can look inside, and then you can choose to step through. And that, it's up to every one of us sort of how many doors to step through, how many doors to, you walk up to it, you can see what it's all about. And like most of the time, I think for me, if I felt like I was ready to open a door, I was also ready to step through. But I think that, everyone's door is different, like this, where you stop. And it's also possible to turn around, or it's possible to like bash the wall down and make your own doorway, like